Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Cashflow Digital, sponsored by ODYS, which you can see the link below if you're interested in aged domains or done-for-you affiliate websites. Then go check them out. You can grab yourself a $100 bonus just for signing up through that link below. But today is another episode of Cashflow Digital where Bad Brad, MP, and myself will be answering questions and just talking in general about what's happening within the industry. Let us know where you're from, ask any questions in the chat, and let us know what is going on in the world of SEO. Thomas Oldham is here, afternoon, evening. It's probably good morning. Well, are you still morning or is it noon right now for you guys?
Yeah, we're just past noon, yeah.
Noon.
It's 12:05 here, yeah.
5:05 here. The day is done.
After that, you're here sitting with Americans. Why?
I have no idea. I ask myself that often. Why the fuck am I sitting with you?
Do I do this shit? Yeah. Did you watch that Connor fight?
I did. I did. Did you see his reaction after it?
Oh yeah, I couldn't understand him. Sounded like you pissed off, but what did he just say? Hey, I had to listen to it at least 2 or 3 times to get like the entire statement. Like I knew he was making like talking about his wife, but I couldn't collect everything and like
seeing the wife was in the DMs and calling her a dirty.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, tell her I'll respond back after I,
Yeah, bad news. Rough. I can imagine that's what you're going to be like after that fucking beat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll be talking about your wife with a broken leg. So
I think Daniel, I don't know if it was Daniel, someone was asking a question on the NFG channel about, it might not be Daniel. If it is Daniel, let me know. But it was about like coming in, working a job, having money to invest and knowing a little bit about SEO. It was a big ass question. It was like hey, let's have.
It was loaded, and did he wait to drop it until like the last 2 minutes or something?
No, it was in the comments on a January video like yesterday.
Oh, really?
Before, dude.
Okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was Daniel. I thought it was you, dude.
Cool.
And I thought that was a really good question, man. So I wanted.
You want to drop that again, Daniel, so I can read it?
Yeah, drop it in here. If just ask your question here, man, because that was worth addressing for people because there's a lot of people in that situation. What's up, David? While he's doing that, man, it's funny because I've been getting a lot of like leads, a lot of people like, hey, I need help, like, and a lot of people like with this update that has been rolling out for months, like June, July, like you have articles that are smart and they say, oh, this is just a continuation of what's been going on, and you've had people breaking it apart into different things. But
it's crazy how you see people's traffic drop like 25% at a time.
It's insane, dude. Like you can see them starting to like understand that market a little bit better. Like as they, whoa, I was going deaf there. No, so that market, people, this is what ends up being in my conversations with people that are asking for help or they're trying to do something and they've been hit. Is that a lot of it has been complacency and not staying up to date with how the changes have happened, because these are not
honestly. I think that's consistent with any business, not just like Google internet marketing. People get complacent, they get comfortable, and they're like, I'll take a nap today, And I'm very guilty of it as well. I love my naps, so.
I love naps, and what I've told them though is like
Craig's going to take a nap in Greensboro. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, there you go. So people are literally like coming to me and like when I'm showing them, I'm like, I can look, they say, I'm on topic, everything's great, it's groovy. And I go look instantly at either like, I'll just scan the content.
Has anyone ever said groovy?
And they all say groovy to me, dude. They all say groovy. It's always groovy, dude. It's always groovy.
It's all groovy, baby.
Just call me Archie or Jughead. And so it's either I see clusters on their sites that have like words that are not supposed to be there. Like if it's an e-commerce site that has nothing to do with handmade toys, they have a bunch of DIY and homemade crap on their product clusters that are like commercial based and they're spewing all that crap, or they're missing like solid topics that are in the SERP. So it's so easy to see, like when you jump into a SERP, someone says that they should be there, they were there, and now they're on page 2 or 3 or 4. And then you notice, well, dude, you missed like this. Look at this header on every page of this freaking top 10. Like it's a topic, a subtopic that you don't have on your page. And the response has been, well, these guys aren't relevant. These guys aren't relevant. And so my response to them has been,
you're saying that
Google's not relevant, and they don't like, you can't say that the top rankers are not relevant for a query. And the whole point is that the relevance changes, guys. Like they don't stay static. They continually understand more information and gather more data. And the way they understand a market changes. So if you're not looking at that and paying attention to that, I don't care what tools you're using, eventually you're going to not be the right person for that position. And it just happens. You know?
You're saying people are coming to you saying the competition is not relevant. Right?
Yeah, the top rankers are not.
The queries,
not
yeah.
And I think and these are really good SEOs, and I don't think it's they're not. They're just. I think people are missing what's going on right now quite a bit. Like that.
What's going on, Mike?
They're updating constantly.
Yeah, that's true.
They're just missing.
So what should you do? Update constantly then? The answer to updating constantly is updating constantly.
You should always be paying attention to the markets you're in and making sure you're still relevant to that market. If we don't study at what we do for a living, like if I'm a painter or some shit and I don't know there's a new type of paint out that everyone's using, it's like 80% of the market, and I don't carry that shit and I can't paint your house with it, then that's 80% of the market that I can't freaking facilitate. The same as it's the same thing with a search query, man. Like if you don't understand the concept of the context, intent, and empathy, like about that query, you're screwed because you can't get the proper topics into your page, you know. And most tools out there don't do it right, you know. So yeah, that's my rant on the update today. It was on my mind because I've been looking at stuff. Go ahead.
We went over it in the last NFG webinar, but it's, you know, constantly going back and reevaluate, or having your staff go back and reevaluate your content, especially if you're publishing consistently and you're seeing traffic drops. Would you first start, like, say you hit a that 25% death drop, right? So you've lost 25% of your traffic and theoretically your revenue. Would you first go and look at what terms dropped? Would you just start there and work your way down and have, maybe your content writer reevaluate everything within cognitive and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, the way you look at it, honestly, is like if you're doing agency work, you get a client and, they're 5, 6, 7 years old, have been doing press releases, not a lot of link building, or they have been, but they haven't been optimizing their internal structure and their context groupings and clusters, whatever you want to call it. You got a good client that's an easy win. If there's no tech issues, like this is like bang real quick,
Yeah.
And that's
got a nightmare if they have tech issues. Yeah.
But that's how you should look at. We're optimizers, right? We're not like content marketers. We don't just put a piece of content up and freaking just go away and not pay attention. Are there links coming in? Is it good? Is it going to fall out of the index because it's just orphaned? We pay attention to this shit, right? So if we're paying attention to this, why are people not going back in and making sure that they are on topic still? The whole like upness, freshness updates, there's like real things behind that, right? Like updates are important if the market has gathered more data and there's more information, and now there's a whole new product in that market that is related directly to your SERP. If you don't talk about it, potentially you're going to rank. You're not going to rank as high as other people that do, maybe. Right. So it's all about topics. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Telling the 3-year-old AI, 3-year-old level AI, what the content is about. So, I think, Daniel posted his question. If we want to cover that.
Daniel, here you go.
There he is. How would you enter the SEO space as someone with a family, full-time job, and some money behind you? I am looking at affiliate, then getting into pay-per-call. I would probably, if you've got the budget behind you.
Do you have Venmo?
Yeah, just pay Mike. No, I would probably start with ODYS. Go over there, get a solid ass domain. Even if you need to ask for their advice for picking a niche, do that. Have them build out some content for it, and then just come up with a publishing plan to continually put content out and get more pages in the index, get more traffic, do linking to it as the content comes out, and then you're building that asset. Once you get that one profitable, I would probably add at least another one, maybe 2 or 3 if it's within the budget. Just start generating cash flow.
Yeah, exactly. So like getting how to get started. The ODYS thing is a great thing because you are going to get a profile that works, and they're going to put up content potentially for you. He asked what we teach in NFG. It's about money making. It's about making money with the internet.
Yeah. We don't want to lock ourselves in, because in the past we've locked ourselves to either Facebook or GMB, or tied it to like someone specific, like their name and their software. We don't want to do that. We just want to focus on what you're most comfortable with, and as far as generating cash flow. Some people love affiliate. Do you do any PPL at all, Craig?
Nah, not at all.
So we're on kind of different quadrants of the SEO realm, but you generate a shit ton of cash flow. So it's anything that we think that would help generate a consistent cash flow. So Mike goes higher level SEO, and then I kind of have to bring it down to caveman level for myself, which I feel like helps a lot of people out as well.
That's the thing. You can make money so many different angles. Like the pay per lead thing, just for the UK, like the UK audience are not that big into it. Not that many people have done pay per leads to a great scale. I know some have, but the audience here just do not want to pay for leads. So I think it's obviously a lot bigger over the
you've got to go either through networks or through partnerships in the US, in my opinion. If you're going to do PPL anywhere in the world, you've got to target the US.
Yeah, that is the most important thing.
So for Daniel, really quickly before we jump on, I think that the way forward definitely would be to segment out like what you are willing to lose and look at it like a proper investment. And going and buying a domain, I would completely avoid like gimmicky, anything that's kind of like not at a strategy level. Like you don't want to go into and start a business that's gimmicky or at a tactic level. So I look at it as there's a gimmicks, tactics, and then strategy. Like a tactic is a GMB listing, right? With a website tied to it to pull in the lead. That's a tactic, right? A strategy is having multi-tiered websites. Like you have a website on top, then you have a layer of sites that might have a GMB, and your strategy is geared towards a business that is an asset that is pulling in money from everywhere, right? So the site purchase and content creation, starting there and then rolling down into other aspects of generating money with the same topic is the way I would do it. And it's a big conversation. So I would suggest you grab the nfgseo.com 7 trial and then like hit me up on Skype and we'll get you started with something if you want to, dude. Like seriously. I don't want to like say go do this with your freaking your capital pool and have you run off and spend money. Like the last person that asked this, like we brought them in and they went and they did their thing. They're gone out and doing their thing now. But if you want some like information or you want to ask some questions, jump in there, even if it's just for the trial, man.
Check nfgseo.com/7.
I will put that in the chat.
Also, we might have some, if you do that, I think you'll be on the mailing list. We're going to have some training as far as what Mike and I are doing to generate cash flow with our new network ventures. Newer, I mean, we've been doing it, but we're just expanding it. I think that'll be interesting for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it will. I think that people will enjoy it. I think that they'll enjoy September too with Craig coming out, or October. I guess it's September, October. There's a lot. It's interesting because this has been enough. The last, I would say, 4 months, like with all the unnamed updates that have happened like continuously since, I mean, almost 2 years it seems like. But it's given opportunity that I think right now is a really good time for someone like Daniel to jump in and to take over a market that they're interested in. Because if you do this process and this feedback loop and this optimization process and create your content properly now, it's not hard. It's actually pretty freaking straightforward to do SEO as long as you are just following a simple system, you know? And luckily Brad is good at systemizing and that's helped me in my career quite a bit. So I would definitely recommend people put their systems together and focus on content, especially with what's going on. Like if you go read the Search Engine Journal articles right now that are up about this update, there's some comments in there that kind of make me chuckle. Like there's some things that people aren't putting together, but I'm not. Let's see. This was interesting to me. What I found interesting is that the losses in image search mirrored the losses in web search, despite being separated by a week and being different search systems. And I also saw a lot of changes in things like video and voice and things. So when you start to see like these huge tie-ins of like they're changing like all these different search systems at the same time, and the results are changing everywhere across like image, voice, podcast, video, all this crap, you have to kind of go, okay, well, it's all tied together, and they're continuing to update how they do this. So as long as you follow what's working and watch these trends that are going up instead of the ones that are going down, because they're very different sites, you can see the difference when you look at them. You're in a really good place to stay on top and ahead of the game right now. If you're in SEO, it's a good time to be in SEO. Like it's kind of like a rebirth right now.
Brad, while it's a good time being in SEO, is it a good time to be in boxing? And are you going to set up a charity fundraising link?
It's not a good time to be in boxing for you. I know that much. I don't know about the link though. We could discuss it.
I do need turkey meat.
Yeah.
So set it one up for me. I want to be your charity.
Yeah. You're already my charity.
I am your charity, bro.
I got in trouble by your wife for calling you on a Sunday, the Lord's Day.
Yeah, and yesterday she looked at me and said, I'm surprised Brad still works with you, is what my wife told me yesterday, too.
She says, I thought she said hi, Brad, but apparently she said bye, Brad. I was like, hey.
She said, I'm out there talking to Brad. We're moving brick. Like I'm with like 5 or 6 people. I'm talking the whole time, moving brick. And she walks up and I thought she said hi, Brad, too. And she went, bye, Brad. I'm like, she goes, I start laughing. He goes, oh, he goes, say hi. I said, oh, he says hi. And she goes, no, tell him I said bye. And I was dying, dude. It was freaking hilarious.
I said, it's the Lord's Day. Why is he working? She's like, yeah, talking to you. I was like, no, we're just talking between friends. I was like, you're the one having him haul heavy ass bricks. It's like he's training for a fight.
You guys realize it was Monday yesterday?
Sunday, we mean. Yeah. It feels like a Monday.
Dude, no one's supposed to work Mondays or Fridays, bro.
Mondays, Fridays, Saturday, Sunday.
Those are
all in on Tuesday.
Friday off.
I know you do. I love it because I slowly watch people as they get farther in this like industry, their weeks, even though they work a ton of hours, like they form certain days that like just don't talk to me this day, go away, back off, dude.
Well, if you get really good at focus work and sitting down and pumping out a bunch of work, and I know you have much larger staff than we do, Craig, but if you get all that shit set up and then you're available if needed, if fires start or something, then you can do it that way. That's the ultimate goal.
Exactly.
Delegation is key. But David Troy wants to know if his link profile will be safe with just socials and mini-net links without niche edits and guest posts.
Yeah, safe. I would say safe as long
as
here's
the thing.
Solid.
You're going to control your links that you control, and then your natural profile will build around it. And this is what the whole thing about doing a mini net type of thing in Infinite is that the natural aspect of what you do to build your entity takes over, and you start to get natural branded. You start to build that, that NER, that named entity recognition starts to pick up. And so you should be just focusing on like, do I have enough traffic to warrant the links that I have right now? And that's pretty safe right there. And if you follow that rule and the rule of if the page is topical, then I can use a branded anchor. If the page is off topic, then I need to use a contextual anchor to kind of pull the topic relevance back in when the anchor goes out to my page, and you're good, man.
I mean, we primarily use purchase links, niche edits.
100%.
There's no way we could keep up with the amount of volume of content that Mike and I do. There's no way we would be able to set up that many mini nets. We've had staff try it, and they can't keep up. So mini
nets are, to me, I look at them like your mini net, your PBN is It is like a website. Just think of it as the same thing as your website. Like every site is a category.
A money site. Yeah, exactly.
But you build your network and you have it here, and you might have tiers there to do different money generation and point different links different way and to funnel traffic in places. But then you have your SEO campaign pointing your paid edits at the back of all of this. And same thing for client work. You know, if we sell a network, we'll still buy links to enhance everything and make it work.
Yeah, we'll link to our mini nets as well, because we look at those as money sites, and that strengthens the ultimate, top tier money site as well. So
yeah,
once you start looking at like mini net style, like the links that you own and control 100%, once you start looking at those as cash generating assets, aka money sites, then your SEO as a whole is going to improve. That was the big turning point for me in SEO. Once I started, I was setting up PBNs before, not monetizing them at all. I would try and keep them relevant. But once you flip that switch and you look at everything, like you try and rank everything, then it's going to improve that vastly. Same thing if you're paying a bunch of money for niche edits. Why would you not tier that? Or not niche edit, sorry. If you're spending a bunch of money on a guest post, like a solid high DR, DA, whatever metrics you look for, guest post, why would you not tier to that guest post and rank it for something? Because then you're going to get more referral traffic from that link, and it's going to boost everything in your network. So,
also, here is a theory: if you had a money website, you got it ranking really well. One of your mini nets was a money website. You got it ranking really well. And then the Fooker just pulled the affiliate program, which is bloody annoying as hell.
I hate that.
What would you do? Would you do a 301 to a competitor product review, or have you got any other better ideas? What would you do in this instance?
If the page is ranking well, and it is just a single page, affiliate site got top position for a product. So to me, that means it could be one page, or it could be a site that has multiple pages ranking about the topic. If it is a site that is only directed at that one product, you can start shifting the relevance and actually change the site so that now you're recommending something else. You could potentially now use...
Just like Mike is saying, I would probably put a notification or some type of clickable banner that says, see us compare this versus this, this affiliate versus this affiliate. Mm-hmm. And clearly on the one that they go to, you're recommending the one that you can still get paid for. And you try to find one that was, substantially better than what you're saying, or turn it into a lead cap and email them afterwards. And then they're on the list you own. So,
and if it's just internal, like I was thinking, so if it's a site and you have multiple product reviews on that page, don't 301 it somewhere if it's going to change the relevance, right? 301 it, because if you have another page that's on another product and the keyword set is actually a different keyword set than the one you actually ranked, then now you're throwing something that's spot on relevant to something that's partially relevant, say 50%, whatever the hell, I don't know what you're doing, but when you do that, you're losing power. So using the page that you have there in a way would be the best option for sure.
In big, bold headline text, don't buy this product until you read our review on this product, at the top, near the top. So they go there for that product, the initial product. They see, don't read that, then hopefully they click through.
Daniel Douglas has got a little question there. Are you smashing your affiliate sites with info content to publish ads to get more cash flow and build topical relevance for the domain?
That's like the mini-net stuff. I mean, that's building a site that is generating ranking and traffic in your network, essentially, and using that. You should be doing that along with everything else, is my point. You should do all of it.
Everything, don't focus on one thing there, informational content or whatever. Try and mix everything up the best you can. And the sites that I've got that do really well, I've built up over a 5-year period. And I was having a conversation with Mike earlier prior to coming on here. We were talking about future-proofing your business. And I've always tried to future-proof and try and think ahead of the game as much as I can with these assets, trying to think what's going to happen next year. I need to get better at certain things. I've got weaknesses in my SEO game, schema and all that kind of stuff. I just can't be arsed doing it. And, you want to try and always hire people to fill in those blanks for you, though, and make sure that you tick every box that you possibly can, because if you don't, then it's money coming out of your pocket as far as I'm concerned. You're losing it to the other people.
And that's the strategy versus tactic thing I was mentioning, like thinking ahead. Like your business, like really, you have a family, man. So your job is like actually to put your grandchildren in a place where they don't have to worry. Like you've got a couple generations that you need to build for. So look at this as like you are building an estate for your family, man. Like that's the best advice I think you can take. And like think like a freaking dad, man, and a grandpa.
Yeah, exactly. Although don't say grandpa, I'm not that old yet.
Well, one day.
Oh, yeah. But Dirk Shembrie, if you have a specific sports domain with strong metrics, would you build out other sports categories within that domain name?
So there's always there's a place for general and there's a place for more category specific. There's nothing wrong with adding onto a website.
Site. Yeah.
I would, this is like that feedback loop. Like look at where you're ranking. Like if you have like a certain, like you've written a page, this is why we call it keyword exclusion. Like you have a page that mentions a sport you don't have a category for yet in that article, and you see that page is starting to rank for that sport. Well, now it's time to take that freaking keyword into its own little section. And that might be why you would start a category or something like that if you see a bunch of stuff ranking. So be smart about the way you do it. And the answer is yes, you can if you want to, but just don't do it to do it for no reason.
Yeah, if you have a basketball website, for example, and you're selling all of this basketball stuff, why go out there and add in soccer or something like that for what, if it's not that, it's not the same kind of thing, it's not the same kind of audience. So you do need to be careful and think about it. Would I rather have a basketball and maybe expand on other basketball items first? Then yes, I would. And then, do you want to be the next Amazon? Probably not. You need to niche down a little bit. So be careful.
It's also how the network works. A good thing to think about there as well, like as we're talking about this, you have that page that now has, maybe it's comparing soccer and basketball for some reason, and you're starting to get a little bit of movement for the soccer terms. This might be a good time to start a tier 2 site or another site about that and start utilizing the link structure between the sites to make the other sites start to rank with the same process, So it's optimization. I mean, we look for opportunity, it's always look for opportunity and then use it.
Christina. What if a blog article has internal links to the same page twice from one anchor from one button? Is this duplicity, or are they two various elements and it's okay to leave both? First thing is duplicity a word?
I like it. I'm taking it and I'm using it.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I'm using that.
I'm liking it. I'm not sure if it is an actual word, but
I'm going to look it.
Look it.
But Brad,
honestly, what I like to do is, it sounds like it's a button, right? So it's a call to action. I like to switch up my buttons anyway, unless it's just like you've got your call to action right above the button and it's a click to call button. Then I just have the phone number. But a lot of times I'll like to hit certain pain points from a conversion standpoint. And, this one might not hit this person, but this next one will, and it'll get them to take action. So I like to mix up the call to actions anyway. And it sounds like that's what you're referring to. So I wouldn't worry about the duplicacy of that. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I don't know if it was Mueller, someone like confirmed, and I've never agreed with the fact that you can only have one link to a page on a page and blah, 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 and it doesn't count after this. They have confirmed, and I have seen it through data, that you will get credit from the anchor that is textual, and you will get credit from an anchor from the image as well. But it also does look like it splits the page rank a little bit. So like you don't really have anything to worry about here. And I agree with Brad that a button is an image and that's a different type of link, and it's not going to be an issue on the page ever.
It's a call to action. The only reason I would worry about changing it is to add a different pain point from a conversion standpoint. So
it makes sense. Makes sense. Another question from Mr. Daniel Douglas.
Both.
Um,
So when you mention that you guys are into e-com, does that mean you're ranking product pages and drop shipping the product, or ranking product pages for CPA offers? That's just, the same. All of it. I mean, not the same. Both.
they're into everything and anything.
the e-com strategy should be having a product breadth that you can really dig down into and focus on key terms that are going to convert for you. So if we're brought in to do, we don't do a ton of e-com by ourselves. It's mainly through partnerships or clients. So we had one client, 2 products, but it was a nutraceutical. One was for men, one was for women. And as far as I know, it was the exact same product. Just one had
just packaging
label on it.
Just marketing.
Pink and blue label, which I think is sexist, but whatever. They didn't ask me. So the whole thing was about nutraceuticals, hair growth, fuller, thicker hair, all that stuff. So it was just a content plus linking campaign from there. So you get people in, you're building the pixel, Mike's favorite word, and you're putting the calls to action. Like they had absolutely 0 call to actions on their blog. They had been publishing for a year or so, at least, right? What did you say, Mike?
Yeah, about that.
And absolutely, I was like, put banner, not ads, but they're essentially ads. Put banners throughout the content just randomly, and link it back to your product page. And they're like, oh, we never thought of that. It's like, that's why we're here.
So blended search is doing really freaking well right now. Like, so e-commerce and information, and like, and when I say information, that can be CPA, because you can have e-commerce where you have a location, you can, and then you have relationships, and you might be ranking for things, and there might be opportunity for CPA, e-commerce, and local on the same site, and it's working extremely well in a lot of financial markets, and then a lot of everywhere basically. And when you understand what cannibalization is and how it is based on the actual context of the page, not the keyword itself, you can start to rank the same site for the same query multiple times on the same SERP. And that is why you should just kind of look at all of it. I really do believe that people in SEO should look at it like from a context point of view, where it doesn't matter what my monetization method is right now. If I do this right, I'll start to bring in traffic that might convert down the line in the funnel, but then I might be able to find a way to make money right when they hit the site in the information stage. And so, and if not, then you're capturing like email, you're firing a pixel and then you're remarketing to them, right? So just, it's a strategy. Again, it's like you're building touch points for these people that are your consumer, and you want to be there at the beginning when they start researching, and when they first realize they have a problem. My big toe is numb. I do that query. I should touch something that brand controls, because I'm 3 times more likely. The earlier that we see the consumer sees your brand, you are that much more likely to convert them when they're in the buying stage.
Yep. Also, BK SEO was talking.
He's asking about where to get GMBs. I would check with Mike Steffens. I'm not sure if he's offering them right now. Aside from that, you can reach out to a few vendors. It's hit or miss. It depends on what methods are working right now. But I would just ask around and see if you can find anyone. I probably wouldn't do the pay people to send postcards to their house thing anymore, because that's awkward. But I would just find someone that can do it.
I owe Darren a message, actually, I think. But yeah, no, it's a fun market always.
Interesting. Yeah, we've done quite a bit in most of those, I think.
And Daniel Douglas.
Turkey meat. That's is that your boxing nickname, right, Mike?
That is Turkey
Mike,
meat.
Turkey meat Pierce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gobble gobble.
Absolutely.
Brad?
I guess we'll just go with Bad Brad so I can spell it. I don't have to worry about,
This is the comment that Darren put in at the very bottom. The way he's treating that site is very interesting to me, where he said that I treated the site like a share of wallet. That's what we did at the bank. I had a conversation with someone that was going after bookkeeping, and I was kind of steering them away from what they were doing, because they were really specifically only going to monetize bookkeeping in a specific location, and the sites that they were going to get donation from on content and stuff, was a share of wallet type of site, a very, very strong affiliate site. And so a site that is just about bookkeeping or a site that is just about mortgage is not in the same market as a site that is about mortgage, credit, and insurance. Like there's
becomes a financial umbrella site at that point.
There's a specific market that you're in, and you want to know what that is, and you want to make sure that that's the only thing you're talking about on your website.
Honestly, I might rather break those up. What do you think, Mike? Into 3 or 4 different sites so you can really focus in? Or would you keep them all under
base it on, I get the share of wallet thing that he's doing. So I get where he's going with this.
Yeah.
It depends. Like I put together a financial site that covered like disability, it covered mortgage insurance, it covered disaster financial planning, but it was a specific market, right? I wouldn't put all of that on something that is just about mortgage or something like that. It would have to be necessary to have those topics together. And then I would have a site underneath it that is about each topic individually for sure.
Yeah. And that's where the mini nets come into play. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Interesting. And this one here from Christina about Core Web Vitals. Can you recommend any tools that you trust and use for all of these kind of suggestions? And also for anyone who is panicking about Core Web Vitals, how seriously do you think this will actually impact everything?
So they say they're rolling it out next month. I think that's what we're seeing right now. They might tweak some more stuff, because they tweak things all the time. I think it's a lot more to do with the way they're organizing information on the back end. I think it's more of a hint than what is something directly to be worried about. I have sites that have 0 performance on the page user experience report that fail all of that. I guarantee you the major players in certain markets are not going to do certain things. What you have to worry about in there is if you're blocking the final render and that some of the content is actually not displaying at the end of the load of the website, that can get you into topical trouble, and they might exclude the topic from your site because the content's not rendering. So it's always a topical and usage thing rather than the design issue is not really the problem. It's more about them not giving you credit for something. I would not worry too much for tech on this. You should be crawling this with something at least like Screaming Frog that pulls in GSC data, pulls in analytic data, and analyze where the sessions are, the clicks are, and the revenue is, and start worrying about fixing the pages that have high impressions but no clicks, or the queries where you've got 10 pages that they're showing a set of impressions. You might have one page that has a 90% CTR and then 6 pages that have a 4% CTR. Get those pages out of the search because it's holding the good page down. You just want to look at those kind of things.
Just can't hold a good page down.
Nope. I use OnCrawl myself. I love it. I think it's the best tool out there for analysis of tech, in my opinion. But
it's definitely comprehensive.
It's expensive though.
Yeah.
But OnCrawl's one I've never really had much of a play around with. I should probably look into it.
It's the way they analyze PageRank and they pull in data and they do the data ingestion. It's sick, dude.
I've been to a few of the parties and stuff. I've spoken France at a few events and been to a few of the parties, and they're always good people. But
they are good people.
Never had a play around with it just because there's probably.
What I like about it, here's the thing: you can write this in Python, right? You could go write this tool, but you have to do a lot. The filters that are built in are huge. So you can just go and basically press a button, say, I want to see opportunities where there's near duplicate content and the in links, the internal links are less than 10. And then, okay, this is a site that's not optimized for PageRank that's being held down by duplication. You fix those 2 things quickly over 100 pages. And now you're talking about a ton more traffic. You know what I mean? So it's just easy after you get to crawl in.
Here is a Facebook user. Pretty loaded question. What web do I need to make $10,000 a month?
I would probably suggest going to ODYS and asking them that question.
And make sure you use the link below. Get £100 sign-up bonus to go towards the cost of that domain name. So
you're already $100 ahead.
Exactly. What a nice guy I am.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually, we could make a course on how to make $100 in 20 seconds.
Mhm.
Click this link.
Yeah.
Um,
Never before seen tactic.
would a work from home site that covers team software, WFH productivity, and home office equipment still maintain relevancy, or would you be too wide?
Absolutely.
No, it could. Just make sure each one of those is fleshed out enough to support the different topics. But yeah.
Yeah, because you're at that point, you're in a theme of like, how to do a home office type of thing and how to run a business from your bedroom or some crap. They're
Craig,
saying
you were on Thursday, right, on the NFG thing for a few
Yeah,
minutes?
yeah.
Did you see when I kept bringing up Mike's office? Because he had to like start it ahead of time. So I kept bringing him in the room, but he wasn't fucking there. It's cracking up.
No,
I had to go, and so I wasn't supposed to be on, and then I see that my office is like on camera, and I'm like, "What's going on here, dude?"
It's hilarious. I was like, "Mike, any input?" And I would bring up his office, like, and just
He's
show
not
up.
there.
I'm like, "Still nothing."
Oh,
I was like, "He's fallen and can't get up."
what a
So then I
guy.
told him to go buy a shirt like me, so he did.
Anyway,
He did.
Darren is saying you may be getting ready to say your magic 3 letters, CID.
Or the Magic 4 MRID.
Yeah.
Magic 3 for me is NFG.
Mine is
FTW.
SD.
SD?
USD.
USD?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael sent me shit. He's like, yeah, it's going to cost 100 USD. I was like, we're both in America. Please just say $100.
BK has jumped on to NFG. He wants to get into this GMB stuff ASAP.
Yeah, reach out to me if you need anything, man.
Glenart is asking, what tool would you recommend to detect duplicate content on your site that is penalizing your SEO ranking? Would this tool tell you where to modify and change the content? It's copy.
Yeah. You could use that. You can use Screaming Frog. You can use OnCrawl. You can use Deep Crawl. You could use Sitebulb. You could use any number of tech SEO tools to find this. In Screaming Frog, they have in the settings, you can actually go into and check for duplicate and near duplicates. Near duplicates are really good ways. Near duplicates are the ones that help you find like keyword exclusions and like fix some cannibalization and stuff. So, and then duplicates can help you find like issues with other things. So like any tool that can crawl your site, pull the data out, and then you can filter by near duplication will help you fix this kind of thing.
I've got a question. Why does Brad keep switching his fucking camera off? What is
I think that he's watching something and it's getting him excited.
Dirty man. Dirty man.
No.
But yes, Jordan Pearson, BK SEO, and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you guys can find each other after this on Skype.
I keep leaving because my wife decided to leave during this broadcast. I can hear you. It's Bluetooth. During the broadcast. And she's like, oh, by the way, the bug guy's coming. I'm like, thanks for fucking nothing. Yeah. It's like, so I hear the dog barking and I'm trying to tell the kids, don't open the door for the bug man. So
don't let the bug man in. The bug man's coming.
Yeah.
Madness. But guys, we still have 13
yes, we do.
minutes, so keep your questions coming in if you've got anything you want to ask these guys. But Mike, have you any other questions for me?
I do, man. I do. I need to see where the one went that I wanted to address. It was actually what they were talking about with this update. And what's funny is they did the 2 spam updates. And I don't know how much you guys watch any of the, some of the queries where PDF and sub domain spam and, some of the image stuff is spammed in. But they removed a lot of the older stuff, but like things that are happening in the results right now. They're complaining about scrapers, ranking in Google. And like, there's a site that's just nothing but scrape featured snippets ranking at the top, doing better than sites that are like have millions of visitors of this and that. And
dude, I was cracking up the hack that you showed to get like an above average score in Cognitive.
Yeah.
The other
that
day.
was funny.
It's fucking hilarious.
Well, you can do it in any of the tools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can do it in any of like Surfer, freaking any of them that analyze your site. It's easy to get 100% on those content scores if you understand what SEO is and topics. But the reason these scrapers are there is because it's what we're talking about is keyword exclusion. It's topic. They're grabbing featured snippets, which you know are a part of what Google wants because they've now put that piece of content at the top of the SERP. Not hard to realize that if you use content that's just like that, you might build a page that works very well for Google, right? And so it's very important to pay attention, like I said, to the SERP you're in and make sure that you are relevant for the SERP you're in. There are ways to use automation and there are ways to use tools to build sites that don't take a lot of hard work that rank very, very, very well. You know, things like Keyword Cupid and cognitive SEO. All of these do a very good job of helping you analyze a search result and determine what to put on your page. And then the problem is you can take a tool like Surfer and other tools that do something similar, just a little bit differently, and I think not as well. And you can move a site up. And if you don't pay attention to the market that you're in, then in a few months, you might not be ranked anymore, right? So I think the reiteration here is to like keep paying attention to your sites, identify opportunities. If you got keywords coming in that should be on its own page, do that. If you got keywords coming in that make sense for a new way to monetize, then start monetizing in a different way. It's like a rolling, it's optimization. Like I keep saying this to people that are asking, it's optimization. You just want to continuously be optimizing your business strategy, which is your website and your content off page and then your links and everything, right? So I think that's a huge, huge thing for people to go back in and pay attention to and take away. There's some really cool stuff that happened with like the image stuff. Have you looked at like any of the winner and losers yet, Brad or Craig?
All I'm looking at is the loser above me.
Yeah, screw you, dude.
I was talking about the guy I'm gonna hit in the head. Oh,
I tend when updates are being rolled out or whatever, I tend not to look at them too much. I like to hear what other people are saying about it, let things settle down, and then look at stuff. But I've not seen anything major on any of my own personal websites. But I've got one other thing I want to ask you, guys, because what you said there, Mike, is you and people ask me this all the time after speaking with you guys. They always say these guys are always mentioning COG. What the fuck do these guys use COG for? Because I remember Brad saying like he uses COG like 10% of its capabilities. What is the tool user actually using in COG? Because you guys mention it a lot, and I just want, because people in the audience ask me all the time, what is it they use?
The content assistant is the primary tool in COG that we use. So you take a piece of content on your site, you grab the URL, or you put your keyword in first. You grab your URL, you import it, the content from the page, from the URL. So it grabs everything, and then it analyzes how optimized you are for that particular keyword, and it gives you a score. And then in addition to the score, it'll give you 3 sets of
That's
keywords.
what it is.
Yeah, the ones that you already use that you don't really need to use anymore, that you're good on. Typically, your primary keywords are going to be covered. And then words that you should use that you don't already use, those are the ones that I try and get into the content. And then words that you could use more, and then overstuffing. And then you typically don't see anything in overstuffing, but the primary block that I look at in there is keywords you should be using. So then I'll start adding bullet points and paragraphs in there in relation to those.
And there's a way to do that to some extent, like with every tool out there. And the point I want to make is that like I have used everything out there, or that I have seen at least that people talk about, tested all this stuff. And the reason we keep going back to cognitive SEO is because they're doing some stuff with their math that just for me, I've seen in my campaigns works better than the other way people are analyzing some data. All these are scrapers. They all go and they scrape data and they analyze data. Some tools just don't scrape enough, and that's why I don't like them. Some tools scrape enough and then don't calculate stuff enough in the way I like it. Some tools scrape enough and calculate it the way I like it that I have seen work in my campaigns. And so I talk about those, and that's it, I talk about the ones that I think that are in the public that don't have to be written by someone that they can use that works the way I think it should work and the way it's most profitable for us. And with the match words and the way COG does those words there, I believe that they're doing it the right way, and my data backs that up. So that's why we use that over something else.
I mean, we got a rehab client that had a few sites that they wanted us to optimize, and this is why I use Cognitive so much. So the first site that we ran through it didn't have that much on there. Within the next month, they saw, I think it was a 30 or 40% bump in traffic in SEMrush. Awesome. The other one that we took over for them was a larger site, had a lot more articles on there. We went through every page that made sense to go through with Cognitive, did a recrawl for as much as we could. And as soon as it indexed, there was like 100-something% jump in traffic the very next month. So, and we rode that way.
You do this stuff right, you see movement in a few days on a site that exists. I mean, and that's just the way it works. I mean, if you do that shit right, you'll move.
It's just getting it recrawled is the part that takes the longest, to be honest. So
Thomas has a good question before it locks up. And I can't recommend, I won't recommend WordTune. I recommend Cognitive SEO and Keyword Cupid.
Yeah, just never use WordTune. So.
I have.
You have used WordTune and you don't like it?
Yeah, I recommended everything that at this point that I'm confident that people should use. In my opinion, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
The way I do
I've never
SEO.
used WordTune. I should say I'm not speaking for Mike. Sorry.
I picked up a super strong expired domain. My plan is to publish as much content on it as possible and get it ranking ASAP. But I am on a bit of a budget. Is Quillbot the best option for this? So I'm going to change your thinking real quick. You need to make sure that you do this properly, and you don't want to go too fast, too far. You want to restore that site first properly. Do not get into the issues that everyone gets into with not restoring properly. Yeah, like Chris.
Hopefully it's a niche relevant expired domain, and you can utilize the old content and put it on there. That's where I would start.
My tools are private. I know Chris Palmer has a tool, and I saw him pop up in the
Your
audience.
tools are private, but you can pay for them.
Exactly. So
$20.
you do not want to get an expired domain and completely change the content and not bring back in the old content. It doesn't mean it won't work at all. It means that you will have issues down the line potentially, or right away. You want to restore it and start
hours. Hours late last week, early this week, restoring old content because they had a shit ton of old content. So I looked at it as free content that's niche relevant. So
yeah. And you can get rid of it eventually, but you can't do it right away. Not to be optimal.
Yeah.
So go over to Chris. What's Chris's site for the scraper?
Articleextract.com.
Right on.
I'll check it out.
Michael Likens is asking, is a social fortress worth doing for a white hat link building strategy anymore? Making all the accounts you can.
Well, I don't know about all the accounts, but get the entity, the solid ones, interconnect them as much as possible, tie them into your same as, and start publishing to them.
Yeah.
Publish from your site to Twitter to the rest of your network. And that's what we do with IFTTT.
And you just want to establish that brand recognition, that named entity recognition, and that's what that's for. You can link that too. I wouldn't call that a link building strategy.
I would consider that relatively white hat, extremely safe. So
cool. Glenart has a question for you guys. You've mentioned the word keyword exclusion several times last week on the NFG monthly call. Do you have a good URL for referencing this?
No. There are scripts that you can put together. There are ways to do it, to have an assistant. But
what do you look for though, Mike, when you're looking for keywords to exclude?
The topic, like what we've talked about, where does it belong somewhere else? Where does it belong in your content structure and your linking structure? Does it belong on
so if there's enough traffic that you can pull it out and place it elsewhere and build its own cluster?
And you do it in every stage of the process. I mean, you want to pull out homemade if it's not a homemade product, like you don't necessarily want to pull it unless you're deciding to write a set of content on why homemade sucks and you should buy this instead. Like, you need to be smart about what you pull out and of your topics, because you're weakening and change. It's not necessarily weakening. You can look at it like weakening, but you're changing the topical relevance of a page when you have words on it, right? So if you have the wrong words on it, which I'll tell you, people that are good with clusters, good with stuff, I see all the time people having the wrong words on their damn pages. And you just need to pay attention to how you optimize your content. That's why you should start at the beginning and understand your market. And that's kind of some of the stuff we're getting into at the event, is the whole, how it all flows into,
the event is going to be complete A to Z, a complete A to Z system. And Mike is tying it together like no one I've ever seen for an SEO event, to be honest.
Like, it's Leo usually coming out, like Chris and Craig, there's, Fletch, like everyone that has a like skill set, there's a place that they're really good at, and that's where they'll be presenting. And then that workshop day will be putting it together for people.
Well, it's usually like, this guy will talk about this subject, this guy will talk about this subject, and they all have to do, they're all within the internet marketing realm, and they're giving you like a taste of everything. This is actually going to be something that people can go home and use and have a complete A to Z full system, not just get inspired and go home and not do anything, which I've been guilty of in the past.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, live IRL fan, it wouldn't be the same show without him.
I'd have my link farm take care of it.
Yeah,
I'd have my phone farm take care of it.
Yeah.
But just to be clear for anyone reading this that maybe doesn't know live IRL fan or doesn't know the joke or whatever, CTR manipulation is one small part of SEO. It's not the be all and end all of everything.
He's focused on YouTube, right? Isn't
yeah.
Live or open? Yeah.
So in terms of SEO and everything, you don't have to worry about these things. Do you know what I mean? You can do things organically. You can force clicks from other sources and stuff like that. So you just
it's important. I think that's a really good point, because they don't just see CTR data either. Like, they see all data. They see the usage data. They build profiles for users and websites based on what people do online. Go to myactivity.google.com and look at what they track about you, okay? Unless you decide to go in and turn it off. Look at what they know about how you're
Mike made the mistake of bringing
house.
up his search history, and it was not pretty.
Yeah, exactly. and so now, I'm not saying they use everything they see, but I'm not saying they don't either. And so if people are focusing, like you said, Craig, on one little aspect of SEO, they're focusing on CTR, but now they've got like all these weird words on their page and stuff, and then they don't have any backlinks. And like, you can't focus. It's a process that is something that you should do organically, even if you're manipulating it. Like, you need to use all of it to your advantage.
Yeah. That was the point I was trying to get across. And we have Alejandro. We've got a couple of wee questions here we want to try and shoot through in the last few minutes. Best way to power up a GMB listing?
Use an authoritative site or landing page. People forget about that with the GMB. It does help. You can link to the CID with niche edits.
I wouldn't go there anymore right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't bother. I would actually go more with like what the system does, and build very solid. You call them their links. I mean citations, but on relevant businesses. If you can go out and do a reciprocal trade, like do some link reciprocal trading with some solid stuff in your market or tangent markets, and then build some other stuff, that you're going to do well.
NFGsecret.com. We go over that. It's a webinar that we did for NFG at some point.
Would ODYS give you a blueprint to follow to restore the domain? I'm not sure about a blueprint, but I know they can do it for you. So they have done for you services if you want them to do it.
Yeah.
But it should be relatively easy and straightforward to just get the URLs from the Wayback Machine and do it yourself.
Any of them that I can't find, I'll 301 them to relevant content, but I try and pull as much content from the old site as possible. But it's just like Craig said, it's copying and pasting, but they will do it as far as I know.
Yeah.
They'll do new content for you too, won't they? Aren't they doing one?
Yeah, they do new content.
Yeah.
Also, Jordan Pierce has just confirmed he is a sapist. Between SAP and SEO Autopilot links for tier 2s, which do you guys use? Are you sapists or are you SEO autopilots?
I'm a sapist, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, the niche edit cost is so low that we just use those predominantly.
Here's the thing: you want to be back. There's been changes in the profiles and the name entity recognition, and different tiers are more important than they were or not. Don't throw the kitchen sink on your second tier. You know, you don't want to take Sir and toss the kitchen sink at your first tier. You want to move that back like 4 more steps, basically. Like there, you can use it all. It all works if you know what you're doing.
Yes, exactly. GSA works if you know what you're doing, but I don't, so I don't use it.
No, there's holes that open up, there's holes that close, and if you don't know that it's working right when you have something, just don't use it. Is what I will say.
If it's a solid expired domain, I would set it up and create a money site anyway. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Put a listing on it.
I can make way more money with an expired domain that's set up and hosted and has some type of landing page on it. So.
No, I have years. Honestly, I've got 2 years of food, dude. So I don't think it's crazy. I have like freaking 10,000 rounds of ammunition.
It's funny because I was telling someone the potato story last night, Mike. You were ready to send me potatoes last year during COVID and stuff. You're like, you can live off potatoes. I was like, no, you can't. You're like, well, you can, but you got to take vitamins. I was like, all right, can you send me sweet potatoes? And I don't have sweet potatoes. Why not? I don't have the right dirt. Why the fuck do you know? It was just this conversation during the midst of COVID last year. Mike went to send me a barrel.
Dude, my mom starts laughing because like COVID hits, dude, and she calls up my wife and goes, dude, the toilet paper's gone. And she looks at my wife and she goes, dude, your husband told me like a year ago that like next year the toilet paper.
I laughed too.
Out,
yeah.
Yeah,
so he did call that.
Funny, dude.
It's insane.
And
you should be stocking up on toilet paper. That's
bro. I made money on peanut butter, dude, like 5 years ago because I got a tip from someone that there was going to be a peanut famine in Russia, dog. And I bought a bunch of peanut butter, and then it went up like $3 a jar, dude.
Did you sell it?
No, I ate it, dude.
Jesus. And there, Matt Damon lived off potatoes on Mars for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. You actually can live off a potato.
Yeah. Billy Bob Thornton almost died when he moved to Hollywood. He was broke as shit. I don't know how I know this. It had to have been on something. But he was broke as shit, only could afford like bags of potatoes. That's all he ate for like a year or however long he did it, almost fucking died. So a man cannot live on potatoes alone unless you're Matt Damon on Mars.
You can also live off beans and rice or rice and wheat. There's a whole protein that unlocks. What's that?
Cosmo said you're fat. I ain't down with that.
Yeah.
Red beans and rice didn't miss her.
There you go. Some Sir Mix-a-Lot for the win.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that
is them all. But guys, do check out nfgseo.com/7. And these guys are live on Thursday. So is it this Thursday? Every Thursday?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And just check them out and see what their chat is on a Thursday. And AMW Digital, you are late, but I'm sure you can catch up. But
he's still recovering from soccer.
Yeah, he is.
But on that note, we will catch you guys next week. So take it easy, guys, and we'll catch you next week.